CompTIA Security OT+, often shortened to Security OT+, is built around one of the most important shifts in cybersecurity, the growing need to protect operational technology environments. Operational technology, often shortened to OT, includes the systems that help run factories, power plants, water systems, transportation networks, energy operations, and other industrial settings. These are not just ordinary business systems. They often connect directly to physical processes, equipment, production lines, safety systems, sensors, and control devices. That is why OT security matters. In a normal office network, a cyber incident may disrupt data, applications, users, or services. In an industrial environment, cyber risk can also affect safety, uptime, equipment behavior, production, and real-world operations. This episode is part of the Monday Certified feature from Bare Metal Cyber Magazine, where we look at certifications in plain English and focus on what they mean for real career planning.
If this certification is on your study list, a free and complete audio course is available in the Bare Metal Cyber Academy at baremetalcyber.com, complete with a study guide and a second ebook featuring 1,000 flashcard questions.
Security OT Plus is issued by CompTIA, one of the most recognizable vendor-neutral certification organizations in the IT and cybersecurity world. The credential is focused on operational technology cybersecurity rather than general security alone. That distinction matters because OT environments are different from traditional IT environments. Traditional IT is usually built around users, laptops, servers, cloud services, identity systems, business applications, and enterprise data. OT environments can include industrial control systems, programmable logic controllers, human-machine interfaces, supervisory control and data acquisition systems, sensors, actuators, process control networks, safety systems, and production equipment. A person preparing for this certification needs to understand not only security controls, but also how those controls affect operations.
This certification is best understood as an intermediate OT-focused security credential for people who already have some technical foundation and want to move toward industrial, manufacturing, critical infrastructure, or cyber-physical security work. It is not simply a beginner certification about what cybersecurity is. It is aimed at people who can connect security concepts to operational realities. That may include security analysts moving into industrial environments, network professionals who support plants or facilities, OT technicians who need stronger cyber knowledge, industrial engineers working with connected systems, and cybersecurity professionals who support manufacturing, utilities, energy, transportation, water, or similar sectors. It may also help governance, risk, and compliance professionals who need to understand how cyber risk changes when downtime, safety, production, and physical process control are part of the equation.
The best way to think about the fit is to ask a practical question. Do you want to understand cybersecurity in environments where digital systems control or support physical operations? If the answer is yes, this certification is worth watching closely. It can be a strong match for roles such as OT Cybersecurity Analyst, Industrial Security Specialist, Security Engineers supporting plant networks, Control Systems Security Technician, Cyber Risk Analyst for critical infrastructure, Network Administrator in manufacturing or utilities, or Incident Response Team members supporting industrial environments. The credential helps signal that you are not thinking only about enterprise IT. You are also thinking about safety, reliability, operations, uptime, and the special constraints that come with industrial systems.
CompTIA's name carries weight because many employers already understand its certification ecosystem. Credentials such as A+, Network Plus, Security Plus, CySaw Plus, Pentest Plus, Cloud Plus, and other CompTIA certifications are familiar in the hiring market. Security OT Plus appears to extend that vendor-neutral approach into the world of operational technology security. That matters because OT cybersecurity has often sat between two professional communities. On one side are IT and cybersecurity professionals who understand networks, identity, monitoring, vulnerabilities, and incident response. On the other side are engineers, technicians, and plant personnel who understand equipment, safety, production, process control, and industrial reliability. This certification sits in the middle and helps create a shared language between those groups.
The exam is organized around practical OT security topics rather than simple memorization. The major focus areas include OT systems and safety foundations, OT risk management, OT threat intelligence, cybersecurity architecture and engineering for OT, OT security operations, and incident management. Those areas tell you something important about the exam's purpose. It is not just checking whether you can define industrial acronyms. It is testing whether you can reason through the way cybersecurity decisions change when systems are tied to physical processes. You need to understand what makes an industrial environment different, why safety and reliability matter, and why a control that sounds easy in an office network may be difficult or risky in a plant or utility environment.
The safety foundation is especially important. In an industrial environment, security decisions cannot be separated from operational consequences. A bad patch, an unplanned reboot, or an overly aggressive scan might disrupt production, affect equipment behavior, or create safety concerns. The exam expects candidates to understand that OT security must account for hazard identification, job safety analysis, personal protective equipment, lockout and tagout procedures, control logic, input and output signals, process variables, and industrial communication methods. You do not need to become a senior control engineer overnight, but you do need to understand that cybersecurity in OT is not just enterprise security with different labels.
The risk and architecture portions reward judgment. Candidates need to think about governance, compliance, change management, business continuity, segmentation, secure remote access, identity controls, hardware security, host security, physical security, and defense in depth. In OT, those controls cannot be applied blindly. Systems may be old, fragile, vendor-managed, difficult to patch, or highly sensitive to downtime. A technically correct answer in a normal IT environment may not be safe or realistic in an industrial one. That is one of the major themes learners should keep in mind. The exam is likely to reward people who can balance security goals with operational constraints. The operations and incident management areas are where the exam becomes especially practical. Candidates should understand asset inventory, vulnerability management, monitoring data, logs, baselines, portable media, threat indicators, escalation, containment, eradication, recovery, and reporting. They should also understand that incident response in OT may require more coordination than a normal enterprise response. Security teams may need to work with plant operations, engineers, safety personnel, vendors, legal teams, executives, and sometimes regulators or government partners. The goal is not only to remove the threat. The goal is to protect people, equipment, production, business continuity, and the organization's mission. Preparation should begin with the exam objectives. Since Security OT Plus is a newer certification scheduled around the December 2026 launch window, candidates should be careful not to assume every exam mechanic too early. Details such as exact question count, time limit, passing score, or performance-based format should be checked against current CompTIA information when a learner is ready to schedule. For now, the safer preparation strategy is to study from the published objectives and build real understanding around each domain. Start with the structure of the exam, then work outward into the concepts, scenarios, and decisions behind those objectives.
A practical study path should begin with the OT foundation. Learn what operational technology is, how industrial environments are organized, what common control system components do, and how safety and process awareness shape security decisions. Then move into risk management. Study governance, compliance, risk assessments, documentation, change management, business continuity, and recovery planning. After that, study threat intelligence in an OT context, including attack paths, threat actors, indicators, information sharing, and real incidents affecting industrial environments. Then move into architecture and engineering controls, such as segmentation, secure remote access, identity management, endpoint hardening, hardware security, and physical protections. Finally, focus on operations and incident response, including monitoring, vulnerability management, escalation, containment, recovery, and lessons learned.
Hands-on practice can help, but it needs to be realistic. Not every learner has access to a plant floor, training lab, or industrial control system. That is okay. You can still build applied understanding by studying network diagrams, reading about industrial protocols, reviewing incident case studies, comparing IT and OT risk decisions, and working through scenario questions. The goal is to understand how security decisions affect operations. Ask yourself why one control is safer than another. Think through why a patch might be delayed, why remote access needs extra scrutiny, why asset inventory is difficult in OT, and why incident response must account for safety and production.
Your study plan should also reflect your background. If you come from IT or cybersecurity, you may already feel comfortable with firewalls, identity, logs, vulnerabilities, and incident response. Your weak areas may be control systems, safety practices, plant operations, industrial protocols, and process logic. If you come from OT, engineering, or operations, you may understand equipment and process safety, but need more work on threat intelligence, risk frameworks, monitoring, security controls, and cyber incident response terminology. The most efficient study plan is the one that identifies which side of the IT and OT divide you are coming from and then strengthens the other side. The Bare Metal Cyber Academy can fit into this preparation path as a flexible study support. The free audio course can help introduce and reinforce major concepts during commutes, walks, or downtime. The study guide can provide a more structured reading path when you need deeper explanation. The flashcards ebook can help with recall, terminology, and quick review as the exam gets closer. Used together, those resources support a simple rhythm: listen, read, review, and practice. The point is not to cram random terms. The point is to build steady familiarity with how OT security decisions are made.
Career-wise, Security OT Plus supports paths tied to critical infrastructure, industrial cybersecurity, manufacturing security, utilities, transportation, energy, water, and other operational environments. It can help show that a candidate understands more than general enterprise security. That distinction is useful because many organizations are trying to reduce the gap between IT security teams and OT operations teams. A credential focused on that intersection can help a resume stand out when the role involves cyber-physical systems, industrial networks, plant security, or OT risk. For early career professionals, this certification may not replace broad foundational credentials. A person with no IT background at all may still benefit from building a base with networking, systems, and security fundamentals first. Security Plus may be a better starting point for broad entry-level cybersecurity. Network Plus may help learners who need stronger networking fundamentals. CySA Plus may fit people aiming for security operations work in traditional enterprise environments. Pen Test Plus may help assessment-focused professionals, although testing in OT requires extra caution, authorization, and planning. Security OT Plus is most valuable when the learner specifically wants to move toward industrial environments and understands why those environments are different. The long-term value of this credential will be strongest when paired with real context. That context may come from working near industrial systems, supporting plant networks, helping with vulnerability management, participating in tabletop exercises, learning from engineers and operations teams, or studying real OT incidents. The certification can help open the door, but the career advantage comes from understanding how cybersecurity, engineering, safety, reliability, and operations all meet. For learners who want a cybersecurity path connected to the physical world, Security OT Plus is a credential worth serious attention.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.